Hi, welcome to the Mad Max channel. So, do first off apologise for my voice. So if you're watching this video, chances are you've just got your PSP out of the garage, out of the loft, and you realise the battery's just not charging. Well, there's multiple fixes to this problem. One of which would be taking a flathead screwdriver, crack open the case from the battery and put some voltage to the battery itself manually. You'll find either a control circuit that resembles this here. If you don't know what the positive negative is, chances are, and you'll probably just about see it here with my fingers pointing, there's a B plus and then there's a B minus. So you want to put like 3 volts onto it. If you can do that with AAA batteries, AA batteries, just put 2 pieces of wire onto it and then bump up the voltage. However, if yours is the case where your battery has expanded and you go, oh, do you know what, Amazon be a great idea. Amazon probably not the best of ideas. Now I'll explain why. PSPs don't have any support since 2015 anymore. Sony just does not support them anymore. No manufacturer on the right mind is also going to produce brand new batteries. So when you go on Amazon and decide to buy a new battery, do pay attention that most of them will say the battery's a dud, the battery didn't last long, and you have the same problem over and over again. Now, there is multiple options, and I'll explain why in a second. So you got the battery compartment as such, yeah, and you have this little chipboard inside the battery case itself. Obviously, that plugs on. Now, a battery is technically a battery, and 3.7 volt battery is 3.7 volt battery. All you just basically need to do is replace the internal battery which was in here, and then hope that's got enough charge for the charge circuit to go, yeah, voltage is fine, we'll go and start charging. That's the theory. However, if you're like me and you're like, you know what, I've got tons of UMD games and I don't want to bother with a battery that has a half-an-hour lifespan, because sure, you could jumpstart the original battery, but like mine, it puffed. You could do an Amazon buy, cross your fingers with a lot of luck, and find out you buy one for a tenner and it don't work because it's old stock. No one, like I say, basically manufactures new batteries. But there's many ways how you can get around that problem. There's also many ways how you can extend the life of your PSP for usefulness. Now I use the words usefulness on this one. Now, as you know, the PSP originally had UMD discs. Basically, you open up the door, you get your game out, and you run it. However, that thing draws a good bit of zap, and the batteries as they aren't particularly great, but you have alternatives. Now I'll put a link in below of a soft mod. Basically, it's where you can change operating system on here. In other words, soft mod crack the operating system, either as a permanent or as a temporary solution. In my case, I did the permanent one, where you can then record the UMD games you have onto your computer and shove it onto, well, the sticks, obviously, because these sticks are not exactly cheap. You can also get one which is like this, and it will act as a micro SD card reader. So you can shove micro SD cards in it. Really handy device. You can shove tons of storage on it. I mean, this one as an example can have an extra micro SD card in it. So you can put 2 128s together. Whether that works or not, I'll let you know at some point. But anyway, you can reprogram your PSP to be able to load up UMDs from that, which makes the UMD drive itself obsolete. So what you can do is take it out. And obviously, because you take this out and it takes up space, you can replace it with a bigger battery. And I'll come to this tutorial on how to install a bigger battery, because we can. Now, the UMD drive itself will be held in place by 4 screws. Basically, rubber grommet there, there, and there. Take the 4 screws out, you come to the ribbon cable on the back. Now, some people have been harsh and decided just to take a pair of scissors and chop it out. But you don't need to. You can just pull it out. There's nothing stopping you from pulling them out. So, take your UMD drive out. You go, well, what's the biggest battery I can shove into it? Well, you know, that is a easy question to answer than not to answer, basically. Basically, once you take the UMD drive out, you also cut off the supporting bracket here away, you have this size of a box for battery. Now, you're never going to find a perfect match of battery. I mean, it's like you have a weird lip here and stuff like that. But, and by the way, on the note on Amazon, these batteries which say 3600 milliamps, it uses the same footprint as the 1200 milliamps. It's not possible to squeeze that much ampage inside a small space. As an example, 3000 amp battery is this size. Yeah, so don't be fooled by Amazon batteries. But, as a good example, this is the battery we're going to use. The charge circuit from the phony batteries, lucky enough, it's got everything we need. Overcharge protection, undervolt, short circuit, and obviously the ability to be plugged onto the PSP. Now, you're probably thinking, Christ, that's going to take a lot of work. Not actually, no. Now, there's many ways how you can get around it. You could cheat and just simply plug this thing on like so. So it's plugged in place, and then put the two battery cables smack bang onto the thing with a bit of solder, stick it in. But as you can tell, it's not the most reliable fit in the world. So today, in today's video here, I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it as a permanent fix. When I mean permanent fix, it means desolder the socket on there, solder 3 wires onto it, and solder the 3 wires directly on there. Hot snot, I call it hot snot, the battery in place, and then solder the 3 cables from there onto this here, and then 2 battery cables onto the bottom 2 terminals. Now, it's not a hard thing to do, it won't take long. Like I said, you only do that if you know your software hack works. In my case, mine does. All the games which I've had, they're on micro SD, and then some more, but that's down to other people's opinions and what they decide to do on that one. But, you know, if you own the game and you make a copy of the game just to improve the console, which doesn't get supported by the manufacturer anymore, I can't see personally any problems of soft modding it than to do it. But onto that, let's start the process of deciding where we'll put the circuit board. Now, the circuit board itself is small enough to be fitted pretty much anywhere. So, as an example, we'll probably have it over here, or at the bottom maybe. Because there is a little switch there, and I don't really know what it does. So we could technically have the battery this way round, like so, and have the circuit board in place there. Have the 3 cables routed through the top, and these 2 wires directly soldered onto it, and the battery glued in place in some kind of fashion. So on that note, let's do a pause, and I'll get back to you as soon as I got the soldering iron and the idea sorted. Right, okie dokie, so back we are. I've sorted out the cables. Basically, have some cables handy. Wire strip them, whichever way you want to do it, whether you want to use a knife, scissors, pair of pliers. There's so many different ways of doing it with, you know, installation of cables. So ideally, minimum tools required. Now, you don't need a multimeter, you don't need fancy pliers for cutting. You could get away with a pair of tweezers ideal, but the things you do need is a soldering iron, however cheap or nasty it is. Preferably a hot glue gun. I mean, you get them cheap enough and they are multi-purposely usable. Ignore the fact I'm using the wires. Obviously, the PSP itself, the control board, solder, yeah, and some wire. You don't really need much to do this rebuild, overhaul, you name it. Besides, obviously, the PSP and a little bit of sensibility on how to handle stuff. Keep in mind, lithium polymer batteries, they can explode. Ask Samsung Note users, they know. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. So what I want to do first is tin these cables here, because these here are going to be the ones to be attached to the 3 pins here. Now, I've got 3 different colours, so I can colour code them to my heart's content. we need to, because I don't want to be shorting anything out. Typical solder, nothing too majorly special. Right, okie dokie, so back again. Different wire where the solder actually sticks to. It's no good if you're trying to solder something and the solder's not trying to stick to it. You know, and yeah, there's stuff like fluxies and blah this, blah blah, but we don't really need that much. And admittedly, my soldering iron tip is absolutely crummy as it gets. So, without having to go too much overboard, we have now 3 wires tinned. Now we have the battery charge protection circuitry, so we need to remember is we won't bother with these last 2 until last when we connect the battery up. Obviously we have the main part here where we need to solder. Paying attention because below it is a bunch of soldered dobs, so we need to make sure there's no short circuits going on afterwards. But anyway, let's get to the main part of it. Let's solder these 3 wires on. And you're probably asking, why don't I do the connector wires first? Well, if I'm going to fiddle around with that, I want these cables to be as short as it goes. So I'm going to do them this way around. In fact, what I will do is, I'll shorten these wires a little bit while I'm at it. Might as well shorten them a tad. I could get away with not tinning it and just solder directly on. At least this wire solders. But considering how much trouble I had with the previous wire, I want to be sure. I'm going to do the inside one first, and I'm going to use the black one for it. Because I can. Not for any particular reason. Jesus Christ. One solder iron. Play on. Solder iron's playing a bit of stage fright here. Give over that soldered by bottom. That's better. Well, I couldn't have done it. Why couldn't I have done that in the first place? I'll never know. And before you ask, yes, I'm aware my soldering iron tip needs cleaning, but it will do. Oh yeah, if you're wondering why I'm doing these wires first and not connecting batteries are volatile. You respect them. Trust me, you respect them dearly. Batteries have a terrible habit of exploding and doing weird things, which also includes breaking stuff. Oh, seriously. Right, okay, that's those 3 in. What we want to do now is warm up the hot glue gun. And what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue the circuitry for this here, head the cables in the right direction, space it out, put hot glue underneath here, because we don't need to worry too much about on top of there. Right, check underneath, yep, that looks fine. Feed the cables through to here, and then we'll catch you up at the point where I'm about to solder these here, as well as we'll have a hot glued in place battery, and this here should be hot glued. But it's going to take a couple minutes for this hot glue gun to warm up, because it's dead cold. Anyway, right, okay dokie, so what I've done is I've hot glued this in place. The cables are ready to be tinned and then soldered onto the main power connector from the PSP. Well, not the jack, the power connectors. So, warm the solder nut up. Get these hanging out, preferably the best we can. In the middle time, I've also taped up the battery, just for better improvement of the looks. I'm not going to say it's going to do any different whatsoever. I could also have it exposed. You could do whatever you want with your battery, basically. But that's this extra shielding for impacts. Because I'm afraid, plastic's not exactly known for being bullet resistant. Not that, this thing's going to get shot at. But anyway, let's get these cables tinned. And then I will have to start tinning up the connectors themselves. Now, the black one is easy and obvious. The two reds are simple enough anyway too. What would be simpler is if I clean my tips on my soldering better. So yeah, what is it like with loading games from the SD cartridge? Good question, glad you asked. So, loading the games from the SD card instead of the UMD has several good things behind it and several negative things behind it. Good thing is you don't need to worry about your original UMDs being scratched. Also, loading times is improved. Not humongously, not like wow, ultra fast, but there is an improvement in the loading speeds. But like I say, not much. So now time to tin these connectors. And what I want to do is shove solder on the outside one. On the outside. And basically what I mean with that is the one in the middle will just have to fiddle to be really close. So, just in case you can't see it, the three connectors, put solder on the outside ones. I'm doing that so that there's, more space in between. Because the black one, being the middle one, we can put a bit closer than necessary, and then bend it slightly closer to the other ones. This at least gives us the option of that. And this is tragically where my soldering iron is starting to give me a couple issues here. There. He said. Right, okay, so this red one here wants to go to the outside on that side there. Simple and easy enough to do. Man, the rechargeable battery, obviously, if you're picking a rechargeable battery, as an example, a USB power bank is what I picked. Try and make sure there's some charge in it, but don't have it fully charged, just in case something goes really wrong. The less chemical power the thing has, the better, but make sure it's got some charge in it. The last thing you want to do is put a dead battery in place of a dead battery. Right, okay. This is the point where we turn soldering iron off again and get the hot glue back on. So, ignoring my pink hot glue gun. Now, you could test this with a multimeter just to make sure we haven't shorted anything, but by rights we shouldn't have managed to do that. So, basically, got the 3 pins here, well, 3 connection pads, and we soldered the 3 cables matching the position of those pads onto there. Simple as it goes. What we want to do now is put hot glue in between, stop anything from wobbling here, and then fix the cables down themselves. And then while we're at it, we also want to finally put the battery in place. That's the next part. But while the hot glue warms up, I'll go and do that. Anyway, let's do a pause. Right, okie dokie, so what's basically happened in the meantime is I've hot glued the battery in place, so there and there. Got the wires unglued, hot glued those, and because my battery cap doesn't hold in place anymore, I've put hot glue on there. But you know, if your battery cap holds on fine, that's fine. If you've got a coloured case, it doesn't matter too much. The only thing to note is the height of battery. These things here have supporting edges, basically. As an example, this one here has that edge, and then you chop the other one off so it will actually fit in place. It's basically what you need to do. If you haven't got one which is clear, obviously it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Well, it doesn't still stand out like a sore thumb, but it fits nice and snug, smooth on, and it won't be coming off anytime soon by accident. Basically, it looks no different than the other side. So, the last part to do is tin the battery cables and solder them onto the board. Obviously, paying attention to polarity. Also, a lot of good luck and cross your fingers that nothing explodes. Like I've said before, lithium polymer batteries have a terrible habit of exploding. So, do make sure if you are doing this that you know yourself. Or make sure you're confident enough to know that you're like, yeah, I can do that. If you don't think you're confident enough to do it, ask a friend to help you, or ask a friend if he knows how to do it. Also, it's quite handy knowing someone who happens to have the tools you need. As an example, solder nine. Don't get me wrong, solder nines are cheap. I mean, you could spend £10 just buying a battery from Amazon. That turns out it's broken anyway. So you could also just use a old spare battery bank that you don't need and use the battery from that instead, with a potentiality of a higher chance of success that will actually work than that from Amazon. Not slagging Amazon down, it's nothing to do with Amazon, but manufacturers do generally have a habit of thinking we're idiots. 3 amp battery in a space where the original batteries themselves were only about 1200 milliamps, thinking you can squeeze 3 times the capacity in the same space. No, not really. If we had that as an option, electric cars would be a lot more efficient, as one would put it. But they're not, so that what we generally hear about them is completely and utterly nearly bogus. So, negative on point. Right, if something's gone wrong with the wiring or solder dot, we'll find out in a second when I use a pair of tweezers and push this onto the positive one. Joking. I'm not also going to do a bomb disposal squad. Ooh, shall we cut the red or the blue one? Right, that's fine. No sparks. Trust me, even a battery of just 3 amps worth of capacity, if there was a problem or fault somewhere, you'd have realised as soon as you tried connecting it. Right, no warmth, no nothing. Right, okay, we'll do it quick. Could be the quality of the cables I've used. Yeah, see, It's a fluke. I think it was probably the power button more than anything else that stopped it from working. But as you can see, there we are, fully working unit. Besides obviously the massive big battery. You know, depending on luck and how that goes, I mean, sometimes these consoles can have a bit of a hissy fit, as I'd put it. Chances are it's just because of the way how the power button, mine sticks a little bit. But yes, there we are. Let's go system settings, blah 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 blah. Battery information. Battery's charged by only 61%. Take that with a pinch of salt. It's estimated 3 hours 55 minutes of battery use at current draw. I know this battery was only probably about 50% charged according to the power bank, but that's going off power bank meters. So yes, there we are. This here is a solution to your PSP. Oh, by the way, when you install the software, in other words the soft mod, if you press select and it comes down with a menu like this here, it basically means it's hacked. And USB device, when you do go to it, select as a UMD disk. That way you can copy it to your what do you call it? You can then copy it to your computer, then to transfer to the memory card on board of it. And that is it. Basically, that is the machine fixed up and hacked. I just need to cut a bit of plastic off, but that's nothing too tragic. And yes, there we are. 3 amp battery, permanent solution to the problem. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will come up with more tutorials. I know most of my subscribers probably aren't going to be interested in this video, but that I can understand. But you never know. Some people might have one of these in the garage and that, and the batteries are rutted and gone old or gone bad or that. This is a simple solution to a battery problem that technically shouldn't exist, which is people still selling batteries which are dead. That is a problem and a half. So, on that note, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and oh yeah, by the way, games off the disc. So Mortal Kombat's, and yeah, they all work perfectly fine. And where is it? Don't forget Super Nintendo games. Yeah. So yeah, hope you liked watching what you watched, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you much. Cheerio.